It may come as a shock to you, but you don't need to be productive all of the time. It's not healthy. And if you're in the online space starting a blog or starting a YouTube channel, you're probably reading a lot of content about being productive. In fact, I put those type of videos up right here on the channel. However, it can get to a point where it becomes unhealthy. So for today's video, I want to shed a light on toxic productivity and hustle culture, why it can be so bad for you, and how I am taking a step back from productivity in my own life. But the first thing to remember is building a business like this is hard and it takes time. And while yes, you will likely need to make some sacrifices in order to make this business work, if you are doing this day in and day out, week after week, that's where it becomes unhealthy. If you have a deadline to finish once and you decide to stay up a little bit later than you planned, or you decide, no, I'm not going to go hang out with my friends because I have a video that needs to go out. On occasion, that might not be a problem, but your sacrifices can make you lose relationships and time. If you come home from work and decide to work a few hours on your business instead of hanging out with your spouse and watching TV with them a time or two, that's not a huge issue. However, if you are building this business and you are flaking on your friends every single chance that you get, if you are completely ignoring your spouse and deteriorating your relationship with them, or even your kids, because you simply need to work on your business, that's where things can get a little messy. Because what is the point of building this business if you lose your family in the process? If you are now on the top of the world running a 6-figure business machine, but you look around and you have nobody to share it with, did you really win in the end? I understand that building a business is hard and it does take sacrifices to do. But when it comes to the cost of your health, your family, your time, and your loved ones, what in the world is the point? And that is the problem with toxic productivity. You may hear a lot of bigger or successful creators talk about how hard they struggle to get their business to work, all of the things that they sacrifice. People wear their struggles and their sacrifices on their chest like a badge of honor. They sacrificed working 3 jobs and then they stayed up till 2 a.m. so that they can work on their business, and then they got up at a really, really early time and they did it all over again, and they missed baseball games of their kids and they stopped hanging out with their wife, and they did all of these things in order to grow their business, which is great, sure, but at what cost? I don't know about you, but I like my 8 hours of sleep, which is one of the reasons that I don't have kids yet. There's also a problem with your own mental health suffering. If you've never heard of burnout, it is a big thing that can happen to a lot of creators who are constantly churning out more and more content to feed the content algorithm machine. I am guilty of working myself past the point of burnout many times. So here's a way to recognize the signs, as well as let's talk about the quickest way to get yourself burned out. The thing about burnout is if you've never had it before, you likely won't recognize that you're in burnout. And the quickest way to get there is to never stop working. You know how I mentioned how people talk about how hard they worked in order to get where they are now? I was that person. I looked at all these people talking about all the sacrifices that they made, so I tried to make those exact same sacrifices, hoping for the same results. When I was working at my last job at a fast food place, this is what I was doing. I would work every single second that I could. And I do mean every single second. When I was going to work, I was working. On my breaks at work, I was working. If there was ever a lull in the day, you would see me on my phone. On the way back home, I was working. And then I would get home at 6 o'clock in the evening. I would walk upstairs to this very office here, and I would sit down at the table and I'd work until 2 a.m., get up at 9 a.m. the next day for work, and do it all over again. But you know what the problem with working like that was? I didn't see very many results at all for all of my hard work. It actually got me nowhere. I wasn't making any money. I think I maybe only made a few bucks from that blog that I never actually was able to cash out on. So I did all of this work, and what did I have to show for it? Nothing. Of course, there was a lot of reasons for my failures, but I eventually got tired, burned out, and I stopped working on that blog. And eventually, I noticed a cycle that I was putting myself in. This is what I used to do. I would work really hard for 3 months, sun up to sundown, day in and out. In that time, little to no progress would be made. I would get frustrated by not seeing the results I wanted, and I would take a week off. A week would turn into a month, would turn into 2 months, and pretty soon it had been quite a while since I had worked on my blog. Then I would think about getting back into it, but it would take some time to pull myself into working again. When I finally did, I would be so upset from all the lost progress because I hadn't worked in the last 3 months that I would decide to dive in, sun up to sundown, day in and out to catch up with all the work that I had missed. Then repeat this process till the end of time. If you're doing something similar to this, trust me, Get out of that habit right now. It's not getting you anywhere. If you are working to yourself to the point of burnout every few months, that is not going to help you grow a business very quickly. And the last problem I have is hustle culture doesn't let you have any fun or hobbies. If you get to a point where you think sitting down or relaxing and watching TV is a waste of time, you are way too far down the productivity rabbit hole. Or if you are looking at every single hobby that you have and you are trying to find a way to make money with it, you are a victim of hustle culture. Not every hobby or thing that you enjoy needs to make money, and you don't need to be the best you can be at it. You don't need to be fantastic at it. A few things that I like are reading, drawing, and playing Minecraft. I could right now go and start a Minecraft YouTube channel, and I know I would be good at it. I even have video ideas that I've thought of that I could put into a Minecraft YouTube channel, and I know that it would do well, but I don't. Why? Because not only do I believe in the power of focus and focusing on one YouTube channel or one business at a time, but also because that is my thing. It's my thing that I do to relax and get away from work. You could say this about all of my hobbies. I could right now go and start a TikTok drawing channel. It would probably do really well, but you don't need to do every single thing for content. Not everything that you do needs to be a side hustle. You are allowed to have things that you do just for yourself and just for fun. I'll be the first to admit that taking a break is hard for me because it feels like if you're not working, you are not growing, so you're not getting closer to your goals, which just isn't true. In January of this year, I took a 2-week break and I still gained 4,000 views that month and a ton of subscribers. I didn't show up for my business for 2 weeks, but because of all of the previous work that I had put in, my business still grew. And just the other day, I woke up to a sale of one of my content calendars. I made a sale while I was sleeping. So that is proof that you can still grow and make money even when you're not working. However, even if you aren't and you are just sitting there relaxing and not doing anything or not growing, who cares? You need that time to rest and recharge so you can give your all when it's actually time to work. If you've ever heard the saying of pour into your own cup first, so that you can give your all to others, that applies here. If you give so much of yourself to people online and your business, eventually there won't be any left for you and you're gonna feel burned out. So then the question becomes, how do you avoid burnout? The first step to avoiding burnout is recognizing the signs and the patterns that you already have. Like for me, I noticed that I was working myself to the bone for 3 months and then stopping for 3 months to recover from that burnout. Check in with yourself on a daily, weekly, and even monthly basis. Are you working too much? Are you not giving yourself a break? Are you neglecting your family or friends in favor of work a lot? Everyone has a different threshold or a limit for how much that they can work. So it's going to be different for everyone. What's important is recognizing your limits and staying within them and also not feeling guilty about it. And then once you realize what toxic productivity habits that you have, you can change them. Set specific times that you work and specific times that you rest. You need to set boundaries with yourself and your business in order to stay healthy. A few boundaries that I have set for myself is I don't work in the mornings. I like to take my mornings slow, eat my breakfast, play with my cat, hang out with my husband, do whatever it is that I need to do before I start work. I do not start work when I first wake up. And then I like to take time out of my day and get outside. I go on a walk with my husband so that I can stay active because this job requires a lot of sitting. And I take a lunch break where I can watch TV with him and actually be away from work. And then at night, I stop working between 8 and 8:30. Because that is the time that I noticed over time my brain was kind of naturally shutting off for the night anyway. Your boundaries are going to be different, of course. And the only reason I know what my limits are is because I have passed them many, many times and I've made a lot of mistakes to figure out what my boundaries are. So it is probably going to take some trial and error for you to figure out where your limits are. But once you realize what they are, don't try to cross them anymore. I know that it can be hard to take breaks in your business because you feel like you're not progressing, but at the end of the day, you need to think of yourself first. And if you like this video, make sure you check out this one right here. Like this video if you liked and subscribe to my channel down below for more videos just like this. And I'll see you next week. Bye.